Chainlink Tuesday update for the last day of September. That would be today, the 30th. We have a new quarter starting tomorrow, new month, October, Q4, Uptober, as they say. We'll see if that plays out. I plan on doing a live stream tomorrow, October 1st. Be in the afternoon, Eastern time, probably around 2 or 3 o'clock Eastern. See you there. You can always watch those back. But let's get to Chainlink for now and see where we've been the past few days, which is, spoiler alert, the exact same price I left you at on Friday. Would like to do more videos, but we've got to see Chainlink get poked with a stick, so it does something. But let's start off on the daily and see the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right, so we have our swing lows back here from early September. And you can see we've struggled to kind of recapture that. And we're the Gaussian channel's on here. We've rejected from the median line. We're beneath all moving average on the short time frame. We still have our 100 EMA, lower Gaussian channel, 200 EMA down below. But you can see, and as I've stated in most other videos, we need to kind of hold around the 1950 area. Maybe we see 19, that 200. That would be kind of the final straw to hold the bulls in place before they start, getting lost. So worst case scenario is right in this area. Again, let's paint that as a zone. Okay, we have our lows here, and obviously we'd like to hold that as our zone, but we'll give it to the 200-day, around $19 if we go down lower. Now, you must realize that we could actually have established our low back on September 25th, where we closed at $20. And we're working on a higher low right now. So that would be the ideal scenario, is maybe we go down a little bit lower to the 100, which is at 2056 as of today. Bounce from there, start out October, knocking on the door around 21, 22. If we can flip this back to support, or at least poke our head above there, I mean, anything at this point to get some daylight back in the, the bulls sales, we'll take it. So that's around $22 where we start to gain some bullish traction on the daily. All right, so let's look at some indicators. We haven't done that in a while. Okay, so what is the good here? Well, it's not a whole lot. On RSI, right, this is your strength index comparative to the rest of the market. So you want that high. If you're going to look for a big breakout move, you'd want to come in with a position of strength, right? If you're going to go into a street fight, do you want to be strong or weak? Right? We need it strong to be able to overtake the rest of the gang. If you want Link to outperform Ethereum, if you want Link to outperform Bitcoin, if you want Link to outperform anything, it's got to be from a position of strength, and we don't have it right now. So we can start to, again, gain some more traction. We can get back on the bull side of the fence, which is about 50 here, and currently we're at 42. Okay, so we need to watch that. But I do have a little bit of decent news here, right? You can see our Fisher transform is really accelerating back to the upside here. So I'll give you a macro outlook. We'd like to break this, relatively, declining trend here, and the next, week or so, if we can get start out, late in the week in early October, of getting our Fisher transform back to range highs here, and then maybe breaking through. We could really see some, some pivots in the momentum, but we're at range lows now, but bouncing pretty hard, as you can see from the previous many times that we've done this, going all the way back to really June. Every time has been a pretty steep bounce, and it's continued for a good amount of time. So we'll hopefully that continues to play out. If so, we could aim to close the week maybe with a little bit of green prices here. Okay, nothing else really worth talking about there. Let's go out to, let's say, like the 3-day. We'll keep our Gaussian channel on. You can see why we run out of a little bit of momentum. Why aren't we doing much? Well, we broke the 21. So when you do that, unlike back in July where we held it, we've breached the 21 EMA, that yellow line. And it's just, it just really like pokes holes in your sales, right? It's just hard to keep your momentum going. And so we're seeing the result of that right now. Doesn't mean you can't come back with a vengeance, but that's the pivot point. It's at $22, right? That's what we looked at on the daily. That's on the 3-day. We've got to get back above the 22 area, and then we can, start talking about the bullish momentum again. But until then, it's like sideways chop, and who knows, right? The timing is almost impossible to predict in any market, certainly when you've lost some momentum. So chop until further notice. Once we get back above 22, it's not much, right? We're not asking for much here, right? We're looking at like 5-6% move to kind of get the bulls back into wake up mode. All right, so next several days, maybe a week or two, who cares, right? We'll look more at this at the live stream tomorrow. We'll look at your requests tomorrow on the live stream as well. But for now, Chainlink is on a pause mode, as you've probably realized. Let's flip out to the weekly. Now, the good news is the weekly chart looks the best. And this is nothing unexpected, right? We've looked at the W pattern in every video. We've said this was likely to occur because you tend to match, right? We're just matching this. That took a couple weeks, right? Okay, we're still in it. Holding above the 21, that's good. So what we like here is this is a bull flag, right? And the target on this is well over 30. So it's actually about $60. But that could take the rest of the year to play out, but that's fine. If we could close the year out at $60, I don't think there'd be anybody too unhappy with that. And certainly we have the recipe for it. The W pattern, bull flag, above the 21, above the Gaussian channel, although we're creeping with the top of the line right now. The top of the weekly Gaussian channel is at 21.17. We're at 21.10. So we'll see how the rest of the week goes. But look at the wick last week. Wick right down to the 21 week. We got a low of 1982. The 21 was at 1975. So that's a pretty damn good tag, like to almost within the penny. Held range lows, which is what we wanted. Previous range highs, which is what we wanted. Nothing's wrong here. This is absolutely on par with what we've been talking about for all of September. After our range highs in even mid-August, we said we could pause here and start to mirror this. What are we doing? We've paused there and starting to mirror that, right? They are who we thought they were. It's working out just like we thought. Now, what should be happening in the next 1 to 2 weeks is we should be bouncing and trying to confirm this bull flag breakout. So where do we want to confirm that? Well, ideally, if we can get a close above $24, rocket launch, right? We should see this play out pretty big time. My immediate target would be like high 20s, maybe even 30. And very quickly, we might see a big, strong bar like we saw, back in early August. We had a 35% week followed by a 16% week. For that, we had a 20%. I mean, this starts to get out of hand, right? We have another 20% candle that gets us to range highs. 35% candle like we just saw back in early August. That gets us to $30. Hell yeah. So I know it's boring. Lulling you to sleep maybe. It might continue for another week. It might wake up tomorrow. But we're looking for a decisive breakout off of this flag pattern, off of this W pattern, into Q4, which starts tomorrow just for you. All right, that's Chainlink wrapped up. Let's go to the final chart, the monthly. Where are we going to close the monthly? How about our only second candle this cycle closing above the monthly Gaussian channel? So to do that, to pull that feet off, it's 2056 is the monthly Gaussian top. That'd be big. We only closed that one in January, start of the year. This will be our second all year. Third, right? You got another one right there. Open your eyes, bud. But, we haven't closed the red candle all year. Maybe we'll go with that. So if we can hold the top of the Gaussian channel as support, which we haven't done ever, even in the bear market back in 2022, we didn't do that either. Maybe we can get a big time bounce. 2056 to infinity and beyond. All right, so monthly close, 2056. We'll see how that pans out for tomorrow, October 1st. All right, quote of the day. A champion is someone who gets up when he can't. Come on, Chainlink. Read between the lines. All right, car of the day. A special G-Wagon. It's the G63 squared. If you don't know about these are like the steroid G-Wagons. These are massive. Wide body flares, lifted, all types of extra shit. If you're wondering why the hell is this $300,000 for this square refrigerator, these are pretty sick. If you ever see one of these in person, they're massive. This is not a standard station wagon, G-Wagon. This is pretty striking. If you see these close up, they're huge. You got a ladder on the back. Look at that, all carbon. Our carbon everywhere. Got the AMG engines. They're super awesome, but probably a little bit overpriced. Guys even got a special subsystem in it. Look how super terrific the interior is. Very luxurious. All right. 4x4 squared. Super cool. I think probably the best like family SUV you could get, huh? I'd probably pick this over like I'd probably pick this over the Lamborghini Urus. Any other takers on that? Or the the Bentley Bentayga? What else luxury SUVs do you have? Escalade, puh, spit on that. The G63 squared is pretty sick. And when have you ever seen one? Probably never. Car shows, only time I've seen one. They're amazing. I would take it. That's pretty good color too, huh? Interesting color. I'll get black wheels though. I'm a big fan of black wheels. Got black wheels on my car. Obviously. All right, I'll see you on the next one.